Hello everyone, I'm Greg Raleigh and welcome to It's Your Turn. On this edition of It's Your Turn, we will continue the process of bringing professionals in here who will discuss information that you need that will allow you to improve your health immediately. We will bring in veterinarians because we have discovered in the past few months that our health of our pets is getting worse. And so we're bringing in a health cook. Usually what we normally do with the cook is they bring in healthy foods or ingredients you need to be aware of that can take an unhealthy food and make it a healthy food. But before we go any further, I want to discuss something I want parents to remember. I was walking down the street recently and I was attending a movie. I noticed a family, and in each child's hand, the children could have been between 6 and 11 years old, and each child had a cup of coffee. This was at 10 o'clock at night. Now, please parents, remember, coffee is a diuretic. It takes water out of your body. It will dehydrate you, so that if you want to give your children coffee in the evening time, it will disrupt their sleep. It will affect their stomach issues, their digestive problems will occur. Coffee is not something you should be giving your kids as a stimulant. What I suggest is fruits. Fruits have the same impact in the body as coffee does. But this is something I think you should I want to remind parents and want you to remember and keep that in mind next time you pass a cup of coffee to your child, that this can have a long-term effect on them in a negative way. We'll be right back.
It's harder whenever there's a bigger group. Pretty much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked. Thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
Welcome back. As I said on this show, I will continue to reach out to the community to bring professionals on the show that can help you understand and explain issues that you're experiencing due to health problems. So I decided to reach out to the academic community this time, and I want to introduce you, Keith Melanson. Keith, good to see you, man.
Thank you. Thanks.
Chief
Good
Transplant, George Washington University. Keith, we talked in the back, and we had a good conversation. It blew my mind, some of the information that you provided that the general public's not really aware of, and the great work you're doing over at GW. And so what I want to talk about first is, how do people develop kidney diseases?
Well, you know, Greg, it's very interesting because what I do is I'm a transplant surgeon. So I do kidney transplants primarily for people that have end-stage renal disease. Well, what most people don't understand is that the things that cause kidney disease are under their control. High blood pressure, diabetes, obesity. Those are the three main determinants of kidney disease. All of these things are under the control of the patient. If they could decrease the amount of food they eat, the amount of sodium they take in, on, they could change the rate of kidney disease. Most people don't understand that.
It's amazing because you and I talked about our family histories and the number of relatives we have that are experiencing these problems, and yet with all the help, they still seem to keep missing something in the information.
Oh, absolutely. You know, when I go to family reunions, when I talk to my own family, they're experiencing the same problems that my patients are having. They have high blood pressure, they have diabetes, and they're always asking, what can I do? How do I take this medicine? On and on. And I'm always trying to get to them that this is about you taking control of your own health care. Right. Exercising, losing weight, eating less salt, eating less prepared or preserved food, eating more natural food. These are things that people can do on their own, but for whatever reason, it is very, very difficult. I think it's like talking to someone that has an addiction.
Let me ask you something. Do you think back in the 70s and the 80s when this mass production of processed foods was spread across the country, do you think anybody anticipated that 40 years later this would be the end result, seeing people experiencing the health problems?
Right, yeah. You know, in the food industry, what they decided was to go in a direction where they could sell more of their products. I don't think they predicted that we would get to where we have gotten to, but it's definitely a fact that eating all of these preserved foods have had a detrimental effect on the health of Americans, and it's particularly problematic for our people. African Americans, Hispanic Americans, we eat so much of this bad stuff that it means that our people tend to be more obese, have more diabetes, more high blood pressure. That relates to having more heart disease, more cancer, and more kidney disease. When you get kidney disease, it's not just that you now have to go to dialysis. Your life is significantly shortened. I go to these dialysis centers all the time. And who do I see there? I see our own people, and oftentimes they're very young.
Yeah.
It's really disappointing.
It blew my mind when I used to visit my cousin all the time, and he goes to dialysis 2 days a week, and I would walk in there and I would see mostly, African Americans, people in their 30s, 20s, and I was blown away that, and I went down the line, I kept asking a lot of people, what was one thing you were doing or you weren't doing that you think put you into this situation? They always said, I was not drinking enough water. And they always said I was drinking more sodas or teas, something like that.
Right, right. It's difficult, and as you know, it has to be sort of like an apostolic zeal. You've got to get these people to say, you know what I was doing, what I used to do, I have to stop doing. I have to stop smoking. I have to stop eating this junk. I have to decrease the amount of salt. I have to drink more water. I have to exercise. One of the things that's going on in the country now is people are saying, well, how about medical marijuana or marijuana smoke? I tell people all the time, smoking is bad. I don't care what you smoke. Smoking is bad. We were never created to smoke anything.
Right.
So, yeah, people need to make a change, and it's difficult.
Now, as a transplant surgeon, how do you get people are people scared, or because of their family history? Do they, is it, I'm trying to understand why some people fight doing what they have to do. I mean,
well, as you know, usually what happens is something terrible has to happen in someone's life, then it becomes a trigger. So it could be a stroke, it could be a heart attack, a near-death experience. Even just the process of being on dialysis, these people have to go to dialysis 3 times a week for 3 to 4 hours at a time. Sometimes just that is a trigger for them to change their behavior. When they're coming to see me, I'm on the other end from primary care. It's tertiary, quaternary care. Hopefully by that point, they have already started to take control over their medical determination. They are starting to make those changes. So when I see them in my office, it's usually the people that have, they're already converted. The challenge for me is to go into the dialysis centers, go meet people out in the community and get them to change before they're coming in needing a transplant.
It's amazing stuff that you're doing, Dr. Malansa. I've watched and I've heard and I've read your stuff. I saw your stuff on the internet. I have to come to one of your presentations. Can you invite me?
Absolutely, absolutely. You're definitely invited. And for matter of fact, I love having people like you because you're such a proponent for getting people to change their behaviors. And we need more people like you.
Well, you've done some great work over at George Washington. It's amazing when I went over there and I saw some of the stuff you guys were doing. I was like, can I wear one of those outfits and get in there and kind of watch?
Yeah, people always want to come in and see surgery, and I'm always telling them, it's one thing to watch it on television, but oftentimes, even with the medical students, being in the operating room, oftentimes they will pass out.
Ooh.
It's a different world.
I know it's a different world. Well, Dr. Malansa, I really appreciate the time. Some great information you presented. And if you want to find out more about what he's doing in his work, you'll be able to, I'll give you that information at the end of the show, and you'll be able to reach out to him, because this kind of stuff, as I said, you need to hear this information and you need to apply it right now. You can, as soon as you go home, you can make the change. So thank you, Dr. Malansa, once again, and we'll be back.
Thanks for having me.
Hart, what's going on?
I'm leaving.
Why? What did I do?
Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit.
Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just please,
Don't leave. Okay. But remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Welcome back. What would a fitness and nutrition show be without the success stories of many people who have used this information, who have seen this show in the past and applied the information and have had amazing results? And so as I continue this adventure of bringing people to this show, I want to share with you our latest success story, Stefan Nagy. Stefan, good to see you, man.
Thanks for having me, Greg.
It's good to have you here. Stefan has a remarkable story that you want to hear about what he's done in the past year to take back control of his health. So Stefan, it was September when you said you started working on this project?
Yeah, so I had seen some of your shows in the past, and I wanted to really take control of this, and especially since I've had kids, I wanted to really get back in good shape. And so I've just started eating right and following your tips, and it's been pretty good.
So when you started this, where were you? What was your weight?
I was about 285 when I started.
Where are you now?
197 this morning.
Outstanding, man. Yeah. Good job. So basically, what were some of the things that you found hard to do in terms of the transition?
So, I've had a struggle with my weight for a long time,
right.
And the thing that's really been the most important for me and that I've had the greatest success with has just been, tracking calories and then getting into the gym 3 times a week. Because I had tried Atkins and, that sort of thing in the past, but just, diet and exercise.
Was it portion sizes? Did you see that you used to eat now big plates and now you eat smaller plates?
So it was a little bit of that. One of the things that helped me out a lot was I got a kitchen scale and I started weighing everything that I ate, and just religiously tracking everything.
Were you a processed food eater? You ate pizzas, fast food?
I didn't really think about it before, but now I'm definitely focused more on sort of the lean protein, veggies, fruits.
Now, the other day you were telling me that you did like a 5-mile bike ride, like at 7 or 6 in the morning.
Oh, well, I actually, so I live down on Capitol Hill.
Okay.
My daughter goes to Lee Montessori School, which is right around the corner from here. So I ride from my house and I take her to school on the bike, and then I ride over to my work in DuPont.
So do you skip meals now? Did you used to skip meals? You stopped that? You got into a pattern of eating all the time?
So, I used to skip breakfast pretty much all the time, and I think that would lead me to eating a bigger lunch. What I do now is I make sure that I eat a good breakfast, couple hundred calories, but really high protein, and then that keeps me full through the day. So when I get to lunchtime, I just have a more reasonable lunch.
Now, with changes in that kind of weight, there's changing in clothes. So I know you wanted to show me some of those pants you used to wear.
Well, so I brought with me a pair of suit pants that I had that fit actually last summer. And I was just looking at these this morning, and now the zipper is kind of at my waistline. So it's
isn't that pretty amazing?
Yeah, it's
really
something.
And all that is just basic reapplying, in terms of changing the food choices. Adding more water, getting more rest, eating more proteins, eating more fruits, eating more vegetables, combining it, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and not skipping, getting into and the body just responded. It was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you tell me all the time that, man, I'm amazed sometimes I look in the mirror, Greg, and how I've made a change, and it's a great thing.
Yeah, it's really been incredible, and I actually I saw a friend that I hadn't seen for about 8 months, and I saw him yesterday, and first words out of his mouth, he was quite surprised to see me, let's just say.
Did he recognize you?
He did, but he was shocked, and I can't repeat what he said just now.
Oh, Lord, no, you can't do that. Well, Stefan, I really appreciate you coming on the show, man. It's important that you see these examples of success stories, letting you know that you can do this yourself. You can just sit at home, go through the cabinet, go through the refrigerator, and ask yourself, read the labels. Ask yourself, are these foods helpful for me? What can I take out? How is the economics? Did you save a lot more money? Did you notice that?
I don't know that I really looked at that because, in some ways it was hidden in a lot of ways because, we would spend more money either going out or ordering pizza or something like that. Now we're spending more on our weekly groceries, but we're getting better food and we're eating at home more.
Okay. Well, once again, I want to thank you, Stefan, for being on the show, and we'll be right back.
Up, college is hard. Down, those books are heavy.
My sport is football, but my passion is education.
So every year I take promising high schoolers on a college tour to show them that higher education means a brighter future. My name is Nnamdi Asamoah. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
You can be a reader, tutor, or mentor too. Take the pledge at liveunited.org/volunteer.
Do you wear this?
Welcome back. I've always noticed when I travel around the neighborhood, people talk to me about things that emerging issues and problems that are existing in our neighborhood. I did not know that there was an emerging problem with our pets, and that what I discovered in the past recent 2 or 3 months is that our pets are now starting to have problems with their dining systems from the foods that are being fed to them. Blew my mind. So what I decided to do was reach out into the community and find some experts that come to me and share with me this information on how this is occurring and what you can do if you have a pet to make your pet healthier. So I introduced Kevin Matthews. Kevin, good to meet you, man. Good to see you.
Nice meeting you. Thanks for having me, man.
So Kevin is the dog chef, and he's going to tell you about how he got into this profession and what he's doing to help people improve the health of their pets. Kevin, how did you get into this profession?
It's kind of a funny story. I had a dog by the name of Greta that was just like this one. This is Heidi. Actually, her great-grandmother, who this was. And I was concerned about what to feed her as a puppy. And I went to the store to get food for her. And when I brought the food back, it was one of the best ones that I'd heard of. I think it was whatever the company was. And when I brought the food home, she literally backed away from the food bowl.
Wow.
And wouldn't go near it. So I brought that food back, and then I got the next one that I heard about, and she did the same thing. And so when I was walking on the way to the store, I had my headphones in, and I heard that there was a recall. And the 2 foods that I got were 2 of the 3 that were known to be causing dogs to die. And I had been studying the natural diet for dogs, what they really should have. And I went to the grocery store immediately and bought a raw chicken, shoved yogurt in the cavity and some broccoli or whatever. And I was married at the time, and my wife said, you know, you're stupid, you're gonna kill the dog or whatever. But the dog had a ball with it. I mean, she tore it up. And I started to notice the change in how she looked, her behavior, how she was sleeping, her activity level. And people would literally stop their cars on Lexington Avenue in New York City to find out, hey, what is that dog, what are you feeding her? And I figured I was onto something. But back then there was no raw foods on the market. So at that time, I kind of had to lure people in somehow. They didn't want to hear it from an educational standpoint. So I went around that and started to make treats that looked like human things, like sushi or brownies or cupcakes, cookies, whatever the case may be, to lure people in. But I was luring the people in by the looks. But what was in these dangerous looking treats was healthy stuff. There was no wheat or gluten or any kind of grains in that flour. I was using chickpea flour, which will not cause any allergic reaction in a dog. So then people were curious, you know, well, you're not just feeding your dog these treats, what are you feeding the dog? Then I was starting to bring them over to that side of things. And then started to realize the push for it from other major companies. And I still noticed a lack of, you know, people were just giving their dogs just, you know, beef or chicken or whatever, but there's also other things that the dogs need as far as vegetables and fruits and proper oils are concerned. It's a whole process. The dog has, like us, is a whole ecosystem inside of them. So you have to support that system.
So, like I said, a couple of weeks ago, a friend of mine told me that his dog got diagnosed as being diabetic. Blew me away. So one thing I want to ask you is that, what are some of the symptoms if you have your pet right now and they start, you know, what is the symptoms to tell that something's wrong with them internally?
Well, dogs have been around for millions of years, so, and they can't speak, obviously. So they're very in tune to what the universe tells them what they need, and if there's something wrong with them. If they, so they know where it's coming from. They stop hitting the food bowl. They start urinating a little bit too much, or they don't know really what's wrong, but you can see little changes in them.
Okay.
But when you're talking about something like diabetes, it gets a little deeper than the symptoms on the outside.
Ooh.
It starts way before those start showing up.
Okay.
And you have to kind of know how the system works.
Okay.
And a dog like this one, this is Heidi, by the way, digestion starts in the mouth, whereas with human beings, it starts in the stomach.
Right.
Their teeth are not like ours.
Right.
They have the sharp incisors to bite and pull. So you have people that will sit there and say, "Oh, my dog just swallows the food, and I don't know why he doesn't chew it." Well, he's not supposed to.
Right.
Things that chew are things with flat teeth, like cows, horses,
Okay.
human beings. They also have jaws that can move side to side. They don't. It's just up and down motion. And the strength to throw the food down the throat. When you're putting things in like grains or even cooked foods, they caramelize.
Okay.
So it brings out the sugars. It causes the dog to produce too much amylase. Okay. And then it affects them like it does somebody who's got diabetes. Then you've got a problem.
Wow. Well, what I'm thinking about is that on future shows, I want to have you come back and talk about some foods that we can do, because do you think most people factor that when they get a pet, they think about how they're going to feed them, how they're going to take care of them before they buy the pet? Or do they just assume, just give them whatever on the table, buy something down at the grocery store and let it be done?
Who knows? I mean, you got to take it back to where dog food started, or when it was created. It was created around the same time as you started to have fast food restaurants.
Okay.
Right around the 50s, we had kennel ration, and that was actually made with horse meat. But it was made out of a convenience for human beings.
Okay.
So what happens is, instead of the dog getting what they need, it's convenient for the human. No food that is on a shelf that lasts for 2 years is good for us or them.
Okay.
Their system is a lot shorter than ours. So instead of it taking a long time to, they may have 6 feet of intestines where we have 20 plus feet.
Okay. So what's going to happen is that I appreciate you coming on the show. This has been very helpful, man. It's amazing. And I'm hoping that as the people look at this show, Kevin's going to come back on another show, and he's going to actually talk about some of the foods that you can pick that's going to help your dog healthy. So thank you once again, Kevin Matthews. We'll see you soon.
Absolutely.
We'll be back. Thank you.
You wouldn't let money just blow out of your house. So when your AC or heater is on, make sure the doors, windows, and fireplace flue are shut tight. If you're headed out, turn down the AC or lower the heat by 10 degrees. And always keep your water heater set at 120. A little bit of common sense goes a long way. Get more great tips at energysaver.gov.
Welcome back. As I said on this show, that I will continue to find people in the community who are doing great things to help us improve our health. In this segment, we do healthy cooking. We've done this before. We're going to continue doing this because these are food choices that you guys are using and eating every day, and we need to teach you basically how to change some of the ingredients to make them healthier. Okay, I want to introduce you, Carl Black. Carl, good to have you here, man.
Thank you very much, Greg.
Of BKC Catering. So I brought Carl here to say, help me, Carl. Let's teach the community what they can do to improve their health and save lives by eating healthy. So, Carl, let's start with this dish, right? It looks great.
We have a basic salmon dish here.
Okay.
Crusted herb salmon.
All right.
And basic cabbage, no salt.
No salt.
No salt. The tomato relish here.
Okay.
Full of protein.
Full of protein. Good, good.
Everything. Vitamin C, everything right there.
This is something one of your top
One of my
picks.
top dishes for diabetic.
For diabetic. Okay. Let's go to the left here.
Then we have here chicken breast marinated in herbs, topped with a mango salsa, zucchini around it, pureed cauliflower. All healthy, no salt. Nothing in here is against diabetics.
Diabetic. Because I'm looking at this and I'm looking at, now somebody was using it in preparing this, you use olive oil, right?
All olive oil.
So instead of cooking oil, you would say use olive oil.
Olive oil or Corolla oil.
Or Corolla, okay.
Yes.
Because people use butter, so you're taking
butter.
No butter.
No butter.
You want to tell people, don't take butter out of your diet.
Take it out of your diet.
Okay, and you can replace it with
And
cooking oil.
You can
canola
replace
oil.
it with olive oil, everything. You can spread the olive oil. If you freeze it right, you can spread it like a butter. So you can take it all out.
The tomatoes make it look, does that give it more flavor? I like how the color of the whole cell. You're a chef, you do this stuff.
It sets the plate out with the blackness of the plate.
Okay.
But it's very, very healthy, that salsa.
The salsa, okay.
That tomato right there carries its own sweetness as the fruit it is. Okay.
Now, are these some of these dishes, if someone take this dish, can they put this in the refrigerator and eat it tomorrow?
They can put it in the refrigerator and eat it the next day.
Okay.
Or the next day.
Okay.
But 3 days, don't eat it.
Don't eat it.
Get rid of it. 3 days, you pull it off the shelf.
Well, let me ask you this, okay. Now, you take this dish now. This is something you could recommend people take to lunch, have lunch at work?
You could have this at lunch. You can even have it for breakfast if you like.
Okay.
But
yeah.
basic, a nice dinner plate and lunch plate.
Okay. All right, let's go back over here. Now, I'm looking at this zucchini. I see the zucchini. I'm a big zucchini fan. A lot of people don't like zucchini. They don't understand the benefit of it. Tell us about that a little
Well,
bit.
the zucchini carries a lot of iron.
Okay.
And also a vitamin. It's a fruit.
It's a fruit, okay.
Yes, it's also a fruit. All they got the seeds and everything.
Okay.
Protein.
Protein, okay.
Okay. Now you got the mango and tomato.
Okay.
Mango, full of seeds, vitamins and everything.
Okay.
Blasting.
Okay, okay.
You got the pureed cauliflower down the bottom.
Okay.
You know the protein in that cauliflower.
Amen, okay.
Better than a mashed potato.
I'm with you. Okay, better than mashed
Better than
potato.
a mashed potato.
Okay.
And all that right there is a blast of energy.
Now, talk to me about this chicken preparation.
This chicken preparation is like this here. You got a grilled chicken breast here.
Okay.
Now, as you bake this right in the oven, right? As you bake it and finish it off, all that seasoning stuff sink down through that skin.
Okay.
And then when you get ready to eat this here, it's best to just pull that mango to the side,
Okay.
peel that skin off there.
Wow, okay.
And look, this is another treatment to this.
Okay.
Take that skin, flip it back on top of it, press it down, so all them herbs will be on that chicken.
Man, that sounds
Yeah,
great.
and you got your herbs right on the chicken. Certain herbs, like this tarragon right here.
Okay.
Tarragon is a healthy herb. You can use with fish and everything.
Okay.
It's a healthy herb, just like this rosemary.
Okay.
Very healthy herb.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, because what we want to understand, people, is that this stuff you can get at any grocery store. It's not expensive. It takes, how long does it take to prepare this plate?
This right here, about 3 minutes.
3 minutes. How about this one?
Yeah, 2 minutes.
That kills that whole concept of eating healthy costs more money and takes more time. We just showed you how to simplify it and keep it healthy. Actually, like we said, this is what's going to save your life. These
Yes.
types of meals are what's going to save your life. That's why we ask you to watch our show, take this information and put it to use, and then come back and tell us. Come back and tell us what you did and what you didn't like. But this right here, this is great, Carl. I mean, I want to take this stuff home right now. And I know the staff, they sitting already trying to figure out who wants to get the line first. But these are great ideas. I really appreciate you coming on the show, because this is basic stuff that people can do right now. And that's what I'm
right at
stressing.
home, easy.
Right at home. So, Carl, I want you to come back on the show.
On your budget.
I want it on your budget. On your budget. Amen. We want you to come back on the show, and we want to handle desserts, because people get tripped up with desserts all the time because of all the
Okay.
sugar, flour,
Right.
all the different sweeteners, stuff like that. So we're going to come back and we're going to do that segment next, okay?
Okay, okay.
Well, thank you for being here, Carl. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, sir.
And we will be back.
You wouldn't let money just blow out of your house. So when your AC or heater is on, make sure the doors, windows, and fireplace flue are shut tight. If you're headed out, turn down the AC or lower the heat by 10 degrees. And always keep your water heater set at 120. A little bit of common sense goes a long way. Get more great tips at energysaver.gov.
That's our show. I hope you enjoyed the information and the guests that were here. I certainly did. It was very interesting. It was very educational. It's information I'm going to be able to take back to my house and use it immediately. And I hope you do the same. Now, if you want to find out more information about what this show or some of the guests, please shoot me an email at foodforfuel.org. Once again, I want to thank DCTV. I want to thank our wonderful guests. Very educational. I want you to go outside and take care of your health. Take back your health. Until I see you again, be safe.